Hi, welcome to the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Making Studio. My name is Rose, and today we're going to do a patriotic polymer clay pinwheel. And when you get to the end of this video today, we'll have a link that you can go to get the written instructions for how to make this project. You'll also find a link to find all the great products that we use to make it. So join me now for a polymer clay patriotic pinwheel. First off, I'm going to take some white clay. Now, I've already preconditioned this clay on level 3, which is the widest setting of my polymer clay machine. And we're going to cut out white stars. I'm using this Kemper cutter, the largest one. It comes in a set of many sizes. I'm going to use this one. We're going to start off with glasses. And then I'm going to want 7 stars. Nice thing about this cutter is it comes with a little plunger in it. So I just push the plunger and my little star comes out. So I'm going to start with 7 of these. And I don't care that there's a little divot and all that. I just need 7 little stars. This is also even clay that I've used before. It has a few little hitchhikers in it, but I don't care. It's not going to show when I make the final product. 6. 7. Now I'm going to stack those up so I have a stack of stars with all their points lined up. I don't need to press them yet. Just line them all up into a stack of stars. As neatly as you can so that all their points are lined up. A little stack of stars. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take my blue clay. With my blue clay, I'm going to cut out 6 squares. And if I don't have enough clay, I'll just re-roll my scraps here. And this is also on the widest setting of my polymer clay machine. Okay, well, I've got enough for 4. Looks like I'm going to need to roll a little bit more here. There we go. 5. And 6. Ooh, how's that for perfection? Set that aside. Then I'm going to cut stars inside of each one of these blue squares. And this doesn't have to be very precise either. What is important to get it precise is when I stack them up, that I line up the star hole. Take the star out. You can use those for another project. And I'm going to line these up just so that I make a nice star-shaped hole. I don't care much about the outsides here. That's okay. What's important is the star. Line up the stars. And the reason I'm doing 6 of the blue and I did 7 of the white is the blue seems to like grow around the white. So I don't need quite as much blue as I do the white. There we go. Now I don't know if the camera can catch that. But there is basically a star-shaped hole down through the center of these blue squares. Then, this is the fun part. Cut those stars in half. So I'm going between the legs here and up to the tip there. Cut them right in half, straight down with your blade. And we're going to put the stack of white stars in the middle. And this is a great technique for, I'm going to flex this out just a little bit, fold it out, and wrap it around my stars. Great technique if you wanted to do a heart shape in the center, or a gingerbread boy, whatever you want to make. There we go. Now we've got white stars in the center of a blue square. And now I can start compressing this. Reducing, compressing, getting all the air bubbles out. And for this particular project, I found it was easier to start small with just the seven stars and 6 blues. And then I'm going to do it again. Okay, this is slightly compressed, not a lot. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to do the exact same thing again to make another block just like that. So now that I've got these down about the same size, I'm going to cut away a bunch of this blue. I'm looking straight down over the top of my block. Make sure I cut straight down. I don't want to cut into my star field. So far, so good. And you can adjust this for your taste too. Maybe you want more blue and less white. That's up to you. But I like to take out most of the blue. Remember, we're going to be making a pinwheel that looks something like this. So you can see I don't have a whole lot of blue. Go. Okay, now I've got 2 blue stars. I'm going to start reducing these by squeezing gently from the middle out to make sure I squeeze out air bubbles. Air is our enemy. And I'm going to be working on both of them at the same time because I want them to be the same size, the same dimensions. When I get them pretty close, I'm making a rectangle now. Keep reducing. When I get to a good point, wherever I feel like it, and this looks good, I'm going to cut this in half. And check that out. Isn't that fun? Still got a beautiful star. In fact, I've been mushing it around. So I'm going to push the 2 good ends together, and I'm going to reduce some more. And of course, because this is the way I'm doing it, doesn't mean you have to do it this way. You can make more stars into your cane. You can use different colors. You can use hearts instead of stars. We always want people to know the techniques, but then it's experiment after that. That is the fun thing about polymer clay. You can do anything you want. There's no wrong method. So I'm reducing. Getting it down until I get to a size star that I like. And that's personal taste. And you can see when I've made these stars, these star pinwheels, I've got all kinds of different sizes. I've got sort of a medium star. That one's a little bit smaller. These are teeny tiny, but they're still stars. So I've got all kinds of shapes and sizes. So that's personal preference there. Just keep reducing. It's best to be patient with this. When you try and do too much all at once, then you end up with stars that are a little wonky. Don't want wonky stars. And I use my tile here to try and keep everything nice and square. I'm looking at that star. I think I want to go a little smaller. I also want to make sure I have enough of a cane to finish my project. And the ends are going to get quite distorted. That's okay. Don't worry about that. We're going to use out in the middle where the good stuff is, like the good chocolate, you know. The good stuff's in the middle. I'm going to try and keep it as square as possible because I'm going to make a mosaic of these squares. How big is that? That's good enough. Now I could take this cane with only 4 stars in it, and I could cut this into 4 pieces and make a cane with 16 stars in it. This is a little bit short, so I don't think I want to do that. I think I'll just do a 4-star cane. I want it to be kind of square. Let's move these out of my way. Nice and square. And ideally, too, you would let this cane rest for about an hour, and that'll make it a little easier to slice because it's quite soft now from the heat of my hands. But it'll be fine. Okay, let's see how the middle looks. That's the fun part. So I'm going to cut a piece right out of the middle. Let's see how we did. See how my stars are a little bit blurry? The reason for that is that my blade isn't quite sharp enough. So I'm going to do a little cleaning on my blade, see if I can't do better. Be careful, they are super sharp. Let's see if I can get a better slice now. There, see how much sharper those stars are? Much sharper. Okay, so I think we've got a good cane we can work on. I'm going to take a piece of red now because the back of my pinwheel is red. And this is at the thickest setting, but I want it to be a little thinner so I can put a layer of stars over the top of that. So I'm going to reduce this down to about the 3rd setting on my polymer clay machine. Okay, so this is going to be the background for my pinwheel. And what I need to do is fill up part of this background with the stars. But I don't want to fill up the whole darn piece of clay, so I'm going to just gently mark how big a square I want. That's the size of my square. I'm going to fill that up with slices of stars. And you'll notice that when I cut that slice of star right there, it kind of squashed. That's because I did not let my clay rest. So I'm going to rotate it. And every time I cut a slice, I will rotate again. Try and cut them even. So they're all approximately the same thickness. I'm going to take those and I'm just going to fill in that red area. Don't want any of the red to show through. Let me cut some more. Oh, these are good sized stars. I like these. And I've also seen this done, made into a complete American flag with a red and white striped background. There we go. Now I don't want any of the red to show, so I'm going to use this little tool just to fill in the holes here. Just push that blue around a little bit. Make sure all the holes get filled in. No gaps. I see I got a couple of wonky stars. That's all right. It'll all look good in the end. Use my little roller. Just press those in a bit. I don't want to have them come out what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't want to warp them. There we go. And now I can use my square cutter to pick out the piece I like best. Cut out a square. Take this part away. Look at that. It looks a little wonky, but don't worry, it'll all come out. Now, to make the actual pinwheel, I'm going to gently mark an X. And I'll even use the dull end of my blade. I'm not going to cut through, just going to mark a little X from corner to corner on either way. And then with my blade, I will cut about halfway through on each of those X's from corner to the center. Now we can put together the pinwheel. All you have to do is roll up that corner and touch it into the center. Roll up another corner, touch it to the center. Roll up that corner into the center, corner into the center. It looks so hard, it's so easy. I'll use my little tool here to make sure I've got that pressed into the center. And then I can use a little bit of my scrap blue clay. Make a little button for the center. And use any type of sharp pokey thing. I'm using a toothpick to make a hole at the top. And there is your polymer clay pinwheel. You're going to bake this in a craft oven at whatever the instructions are for the type of clay you're using. I'm using Primo. Bake that in the craft oven. Put a bail up here on the top. Add a chain, and you're done. And don't forget, scroll down, find the printed instructions for this project, and also the printed materials list that I've used. Hope you love this project. I enjoyed making it. I've made a lot of them in different colors. So have fun. Happy beading. My name is Rose. Thanks for joining me. And make sure you check out our website at firemountaingems.com. See us on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. Thanks for joining me.